Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all had a blessed Passover Resurrection weekend. And welcome to another episode of the Crime Syndicate. I'm your host, Ness, alongside my co-host, Crystal, a.k.a. StarFox.
Hey, how's it going, you guys? I was expecting a serial killer to pop out at any moment. Ooh. Right behind you! No! Thanks for subscribing to all our listeners out there. And if you would like to follow us, we have of course, our YouTube page, and we have a Facebook page and a Twitter page. And the links will be provided in the description. I was going to say subscription. Whoops. Sorry, guys. So that's how you can follow us, and you can see what everybody is going to be doing at ENT Hooligans. And speaking of ENT Hooligans, it's going to be a very busy week for us.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Tomorrow, let me know if I'm missing anything, Ness.
Go ahead.
Tomorrow, there will be one MBPS, our tech show with Mo and Austin, along with Sports Vista. It's what do you call it?
It's a fusion show tomorrow.
That's the word.
Yeah.
We're going to fuse them together.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. On Wednesday, it's a really cool edition of Peeps Corner, which is basically where all the crew, myself, Ness, Baby Moy, and Austin, we all get together and we just hang. We talk about anything and, well, not everything, but whatever.
We just kind of shoot the breeze, you know. It's not really
Yes.
a formal podcast. It's just us just shooting the breeze.
Right.
That's going to be on Wednesday. Yep.
Yes, and on Thursday, we have an edition of Sports Vista.
Featuring myself and Baby Moy. Breaking down, talking a little MMA.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I can't wait for that. And on Friday is our very special edition of Sports Vista because of WrestleMania weekend. So it'll be all of the crew, I believe. That'll be
the whole
there.
crew will be in the house Friday. Yep.
Yep. We'll be talking about the Hall of Fame and NXT and WrestleMania. And, you know, all that. So stay tuned for all that coming up this week.
That's right. Fun. So keep us
Very
locked for that. And we kick this week off with, of course, the Crime Syndicate.
Yep. Today we were going to be talking about everybody's favorite amendment, the right to bear arms.
And why is this topic such a big topic of debate right now? Well, because of the latest mass shooting that took place on February 14th at Margie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
Yes.
Now, mind you, before this happened, I've never even heard of Parkland, Florida.
No, I don't think any of us have.
Sadly, when I first received the news update on my phone, the notification, my initial reaction was, "Oh, another one?" And I just kind of kept it moving that day.
Yeah, I don't understand why these people think in their heads, in their minds, that it's okay to go and shoot innocent people, including
well, you know,
kids.
17 innocent people's lives were lost that day at the hands of a former student there who was, as we would learn later on, had behavioral issues. And he was expelled from that high school. Police were called to his residence numerous occasions in the past 8 years. He expressed extremist and racist views on the internet. He even openly talked about becoming a professional school shooter. The FBI was alerted to this. Nothing was done. The Broward County authorities were alerted about this young man numerous times, and very little, again, was done. As a result, 17 innocent staff and students were killed on February 14th.
Then that's when the FBI got involved.
And the firestorm that came from that is this now topic of conversation, this back and forth bickering over the Second Amendment. And, you know, we often talk about this generation of kids being disrespectful and, you know, not knowing anything. But what we've also seen from this was these students involved in marches and protests against gun violence. There was a national school walkout a couple weeks ago, and then last weekend there was the March for Our Lives rally, where the students have been letting their voices be heard. So maybe there's such a generational gap as we thought there was.
Yeah, I mean, because in our generation, at least where in my neck of the woods, I never really heard of school shootings in the 90s.
And I stated earlier that my initial reaction when I saw the news was, oh, another one. But as the days went by and the more information I started coming across, it just made me think, like, wow, this is where we're at with the gun control debate. School safety. School safety is now a part of this discussion. School is supposed to be a child's second home.
Yep.
Now we're talking about arming teachers as part of this. This is one of the ideas that's being entertained. And why is this idea being entertained? Because the authorities failed to do their job. At every level of law enforcement, failed these 17 innocent people who lost their lives. They also failed this young man who took their lives.
Yeah, I mean, this guy clearly had... You have to have mental health issues if you're thinking that way. And you have to be taught how to be racist. You're not just
this
born.
young man. Yes, this young man had a lot of hatred in his heart, a lot of anger and hatred, which he expressed on his social media pages, which he then carried out at his former school.
Wow, and something must have happened to trigger it.
Now, obviously, we can't address gun violence without addressing the root of what causes people to become homicidal. Is it a gun problem?
It's a lot of...
Partially. Partially. Yes and no. Yes, because of the wrong people having access to these guns, because this young man purchased this gun, this weapon of choice, legally at a gun show. To you know, before Second Amendment fanatics yap on about how new laws aren't going to stop criminals from buying guns. Well, this young man purchased his weapon legally.
Wow.
Just like the shooter in Las Vegas purchased his weapons legally.
Yep.
And he had an arsenal of weapons. This was all purchased legally. Was I surprised when I found out Parkland, Florida was deemed one of the safest places in that state? Very quiet, gated community. All you hear is crickets and birds and the occasional dog barking. So safe, so secure, so peaceful, right?
It could happen anywhere. No place is safe.
I've said before, I feel safer with life around me. If an area is too quiet, That's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is.
You know, when we went to high school, yeah, I know we're kind of all over the place here with this, but yeah, this is one of those topics. In our day, we never imagined that school safety would be an issue.
No.
You know what we were concerned about back in our day? Chemical warfare.
The anthrax scare.
The anthrax scare, the potential chemical warfare. This is what our main biggest concern was. This is what they were preparing us for in school. Potentially being locked down at school. Our safe haven,
Yep.
our second home.
Never shootings.
Here now, we're talking about arming teachers. As if they don't have enough to do as it is.
Yeah, I mean, they're already overloaded with classes.
They already have to be mentors, parent figures, psychologists, counselors. Now you want them to be officers, security guards as well.
Wow. That could do something to your psyche. Because what if you handed teacher a gun and a switch flips on?
Yeah.
You know, what if they think, oh, I wonder what it's like.
Now, obviously, there's been a lot of bickering back and forth on both sides of the coin. You have on the one side people talking about get rid of all $billion industry.
Yep.
Slide! Multi-billion. B with a B. Billion.
Yep.
Is it a coincidence that the deadliest cash cows happen to be the biggest cash cows? No. Of course not.
Nah.
Gun reform doesn't mean disarming everybody. It doesn't mean that at all. Because even sensible gun owners realize we got a problem here.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
I know that sounds like a bumper stinker material, but yeah.
It's
This
true.
goes back to what I said before. Do we have a gun problem in this country? Yes and no. Yes, because wrong people are having access to it, and no, because, quite frankly, guns are doing exactly what they were built to do. Kill.
Yep.
That's their main function, their primary purpose. That's all. That's what they were built to do.
Yep.
They serve no other purpose other than to kill. Because we live in a kill or be killed environment. With the introduction of these weapons of mass destruction. That's what they're made for. People talk about, oh, well, what about knives? What about cars? What about... Cars weren't made to kill. Now, can they be used as weapons? Yes. But were they made to be weapons? No. They were not. Knives. Can they be used as weapons? Yes. Were they made to be weapons? No. They were made to be silverware.
Yep. Wow. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
All this gun violence is happening. I mean, and I don't think it'll ever stop.
Gun violence stems from greed and poverty.
Yep.
Poverty because people in impoverished areas are trying to survive. Greed because people who benefit from these things just want to keep it going.
Yep. That's just really sad.
This is what it took for us to have a national conversation about this. A quote-unquote safe, affluent, white suburban neighborhood to have a mass shooting in this place. This is what it took for us to have this national conversation. We have gun violence in the inner cities, but nobody really brings attention to that.
I was just going to say, but if it was like in the barrio or somewhere like that, you wouldn't hear about that on TV.
Instead, we're looking... Oh, yeah, you would hear about it. We would just be demonized for it.
Yep.
But when it happens in an affluent, white, suburban neighborhood, all of a sudden, it's a problem. And you know what? Credit to those students of Parkland for pointing this out.
Yeah, somebody told me over the weekend that the students are in agreement with tearing the school down.
Ooh. Students pointed this out. They sympathize with their minority brethren who see gun violence on a regular basis. They pointed out, hey, they pointed out, yeah, we do have white privilege from our affluent neighborhoods, and we have a platform, and they're actually using that platform to shed light on something that we've been demonizing all this time when it happens in a specific area.
Yeah.
Among a specific demographic of people. I
mean, good for them that they're doing that.
Yeah, good for them.
And it shows, we're not afraid,
the sad part is that these children are being attacked by gun fanatics, Second Amendment fanatics. Like, in the main, not just the keyboard gangsters from Joe Blow Patriot over there, but also from mainstream media personalities.
Yeah, and they're kids.
Look, if you want to disagree with what they're saying, that's fine. But if you feel like they're wrong, then tell us why they're wrong.
Yeah.
Don't just attack their credibility or their education or attack them for it.
Because how would you like it if you were in that situation and somebody attacked you? You're the adult, act like one.
But when you have kids who act more civilized than the freaking adults that are supposed to be the example for them, you got a problem. Like this is crazy.
Big problem. A big problem.
It's yeah. So the Second Amendment, of course.
Yes.
Right to bear arms, self-defense, right?
Right.
And obviously, states have different laws as far as this goes. Some states have carry conceal, some states don't.
Yeah.
Should carry conceal be something that should be a national thing?
I don't know. The reason why I say I don't know is because, well, I guess it's a risk in everything, right? Like, you could give or sell a weapon to a criminal without even knowing it. But I think too, on the other hand, people would, feel more protected because then, what if somebody goes in and robs your house or something and you're in there?
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at both sides of the coin.
And people are under the assumption that most gun violence happens with illegally purchased weapons, and that's not actually the case.
It's not.
It's kind of like a mixed bag.
Yeah, because you have people who do stuff with They're weapons that are legally purchased.
Yeah, we've seen cases like that.
Yeah.
Where somebody has used their legally purchased weapon to kill a spouse. You know.
Yep. Now, should there be a much more comprehensive background check? I think so.
Yes, absolutely.
I think
there should be a more comprehensive background check, and there's also be training involved as part of the process.
Yeah, I think there should be a psychologist on hand to administer a test instead of it being written.
Yeah. Now, what do we do about our schools? 'Cause, I mean, it's a conversation that does need to be had. Like, what do we do at our schools? How do we now go about keeping our kids safe?
I mean, don't they have cops at schools? I know.
Listen, we don't want schools to have the feel of a freaking prison where they're just bombarded with armed security. How about what about bringing in more social workers as well? Not just security, but also social workers, counselors. We need more counselors.
Yeah, more counselors, and yeah.
Because we can't just address the symptom. We gotta we gotta treat the disease too. We can't just treat the symptom.
A counselor, and even have maybe like a psychiatrist on hand or a psychologist or both.
I'm pretty sure there could be funding allocated towards that if they really wanted to.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, they're
the
spending
states
all this
wanted
money
to
on football
if the
fields
federal
and stuff.
government wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there should be more social workers and psychologists and psychiatrists. It would be cool if each school had a psychologist and a psychiatrist on hand. Even the elementary schools,
Because as I said before, schools are a child's second home. They're there for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Yep. Sometimes
it's a child's second home. It's their home away from home.
Yeah. Yep.
And with the current state of things,
thing on your mind,
does it really feel like home right now? Can anybody say that?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me. Like, now I look back at my high school years and think, the only thing I was worried about, only two things: if we were gonna get a bomb threat and anthrax.
Yeah. Back when we were in high school, that was our biggest. Yeah, bomb threats were it. And chemical warfare.
We had 2 lockdowns when I was in high school.
Well, thankfully we didn't have any, but we talked about them possibly having one just in case.
Yeah, we had. I think it was a lockdown, like a drill.
Yeah.
And then
we had a few. Yeah, we had a few. We had a few bomb threat drills too.
Because somebody did threaten that they were going to bring a bomb into the school.
Yeah.
Now these poor kids. Well, gosh, is my friend going to bring a gun?
It's crazy.
Into school.
It's crazy to think
and it's so easy to bring a gun into a school.
Yeah, because it's one of the last places you would suspect somebody would bring a gun into.
Yep.
It's just like, wait a minute, a school?
That's amazing.
From a legislative standpoint, I guess carry and conceal could be a more viable solution. to try to minimize these things.
But adults should be the ones doing it, I think.
Yeah.
With extensive background checks, and maybe every 3 to 6 months go back for like a recertification.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, these are more reasonable, ideas as to rather than, ban all guns. That's not going to happen. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Kidding me? This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. These things aren't going nowhere at all. But it's not enough just to keep them out of the wrong people's hands. We also have to figure out a way to to help these people before it's too late.
Mental health is something that people struggle with. It's not something that's going to go away if you just ignore it.
No.
Like, there was a schizophrenic woman who went and shot, I think it was at a mall, and she went and shot people because the voices in her head told her to. And she wanted help, and nobody helped her.
This young man in Parkland, he was crying out for help as well. Now, this woman that you just mentioned, how did was her weapon legally purchased?
Yes, but it wasn't hers. It was her father's.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was talking to herself during the whole shootout.
Oh my God.
And then she came to, and she realized what she did, and she dropped the gun and surrendered. But instead of getting the help she needs, she's in a prison. Psychologists and psychiatrists are, they were telling the authorities she needs help.
Proving somebody was insane when they committed, that was mentally competent is a difficult thing to prove in the court of law. It's a very difficult thing to prove. And obviously, every state has a different criteria for these things. I don't know the specifics, but I know every state has a different set of rules for these.
Yeah, I don't either.
For what qualifies
that should be another podcast.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
Yeah. See, folks, we get ideas on air. How cool is that?
Yeah. You guys inspire us. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So stay tuned for that podcast coming your way.
But the bright thing of all this is to see these kids show how aware they really are about these things.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they may not know everything there is to know about these things, but they have an idea, they have a voice. And
that's really awesome.
It's great. You want to disagree with what they're saying, that's okay, but there's no need to attack them either.
Correct.
Obviously, the NRA has caught a lot of flack from this.
Yep.
Go
figure.
Are they the only ones? Are they the only ones responsible for this? No, because they do have political influence. Let's not get it twisted here. They do have political influence.
Yeah, they do. But they're not the only ones.
They're not the only ones.
You have people selling guns on the street.
This young man went to a gun show and purchased his weapon of choice.
That's just scary. All you need is a valid ID.
Yeah. While he was committing this act, outside this school was 4 armed deputies who was hiding behind a car. 4 minutes. It took him 6 minutes and change to kill all these people. 4 of those minutes, those armed guards, armed deputies stood outside, hiding behind a car.
Because they were scared they were going to get shot.
The Broward
Isn't
County
that a part
Sheriff.
of your duty?
Broward County Sheriff took no responsibility for this at all.
Of course not.
You remember that town hall they had on CNN following this?
Yeah.
He was out there sticking his chest out and berating the NRA spokeswoman, blaming the NRA, blaming the FBI, blaming his own deputies who work under him, by the way. So somehow this, just saying.
Bet you it was an election year.
So, in my opinion, they should be prosecuted for this crime too.
Oh yeah, but they're not. Because, well, they weren't the ones holding the gun, were they? That's
No, but they could have done something about it beforehand, but they chose not to.
Yep. Or, I got it. There wasn't enough proof.
They received dozens of phone calls about this kid. He brought knives to school once.
Wow.
There was so many red flags, so many alarm bells ringing, nobody bothered to answer those alarm bells. We have local, state, and federal law enforcement for a reason.
Yeah, if they do their job.
If everybody did their part, everybody else wouldn't have to pick up the slack for them. This is a line of work where you can't go, "Oops, my bad." Because what happened with these armed deputies? You know, a mistake is something that happens accidentally. You mess up. You know, you might have gotten there too late or what have you. But if you're actually there, and you wait, and do nothing, you then can't go, "Oops, my bad."
Yeah, and you're hiding behind cars.
For 4 minutes, waiting for their neighboring county to show up and help them out. This is what was reported.
Wow.
So, in my view, they're just as guilty for this crime as the young man who pulled the trigger.
Yep, but like I said, they won't be prosecuted.
You know. 17 innocent lives lost. 17 groups of families and friends suffering a loss of their loved ones.
That didn't even need to happen. That's what's so sad.
Yeah, this could have been prevented.
Yep, it could have been.
And I don't mean on that day. I mean...
No, beforehand. It could have been prevented beforehand.
All the signs were there about this kid. All the signs were there. All the alarm bells were ringing. This was an angry young man. This was a young man full of hate. This was a young man who had homicidal tendencies and openly spoke of carrying out homicides.
Wow.
Then after he does this, he very calmly walks out and gets himself a sandwich. As if he just finished running errands or something. Now that I got all this done, I did the shopping, I paid up some bills. Now I'm gonna go give me something to eat. That's kind of how casual he was about this.
Wow. He went and got himself a sandwich.
Yeah, after he finished doing what he was doing. Went out there, blended in with the crowd. Went to the store nearby and got himself a sandwich.
Then he knew what he was doing.
Huh? He wasn't hiding it.
No,
it's out.
Not at all.
He put it out there on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't something he was planning in secret. He put it out there on social media.
He put it out there. He wanted to get caught.
Hello?
He wanted help. At least
He did.
He wanted help.
He did, because he even called the police himself at some point.
If somebody's calling the police on themselves, then shouldn't that be your duty to help somebody before they do something?
Like, where was... I mean, I don't... It's just amazing. Just amazing. You know, now this young man is going to spend the rest of his life in jail. Or perhaps on death row. I'm not sure if Florida has death penalty or not.
I think they do, but I don't know.
Sure. I'm not exactly sure, so I'm not going to say yay or nay.
I don't know.
19-year-old kid.
He will be...
19-year-old kid.
Wow.
All this anger and hate boiled over. Wow. Phew.
That's sad.
It's just so many just so many things here. I don't know where to even go with this. Just
I mean, his life is now gone too.
yeah.
He has no life now.
No. Now don't get it twisted here. You know, he by no means at this point is a sympathetic figure. No, not at this point. This man committed a terrorist act of terrorism. This is what he did.
Yeah.
Because as we have stated in podcasts in the past when we've talked about this stuff, it's been a while, but terrorism has no ethnicity, has no nationality, has no gender, no race.
Nope.
Contrary to the false narratives out there, to what they want you to believe. No. But most of the terrorists in this country are domestic terrorists.
Yep.
They're domestic. Some of them are even associated with white supremacist groups.
Mm-hmm. Which, that doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me either. This young man was believed to be associated with one, but they quickly squashed those claims. But if he was, that wouldn't surprise me.
No. Me either.
So carry and conceal. Interesting concept.
Yep. Very interesting. Here we have it.
Right, you're from Texas, and they have it there in Texas. So how is that working out over there? If you have any idea offhand.
I think it's a good idea and a bad idea at the same time. I think it's a good idea because people feel safer. I think it's a bad idea because look at what happened in Springs, Texas.
What happened?
Church. This military guy went and shot up people. It was last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a double-edged
his
sword
weapon.
there.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I think it's a good and a bad idea at the same time. I
You know,
think
the
there
crazy
should be
thing is that he was, he purchased his weapon legally, by the way, but he wasn't supposed to because he wasn't fit
Right.
to be armed. Because he had
Right.
domestic violence on his record, and, well, which is the reason he was discharged from the military, but somehow that kind of was erased from his file at some point for whatever reason.
Or maybe that where he purchased it, they didn't do background. Because there's, like, if you purchase, I believe, if you purchase your gun, not at a gun store, but on the streets, they don't do background checks. But I believe in a gun store they do. But it's, I think, very minimum that they do that.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure. That's something I have to look into.
Springs, Texas, that shooting at the church. You mentioned
Yes.
the the drawbacks and the bright side to it. Oddly enough,
Yes.
the person who eventually took down the shooter was a civilian who had a carry conceal.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, there we go. Uh-huh.
Very nice. Where's the killer at?
I like those drums, yeah. Yeah, he had a carry conceal, which comes in handy in incidents like this,
Yes.
where, that's the only alternative at that point.
Yeah. And it's amazing to me that it was a civilian who did it. That's... in some ways it's great, but in other ways, there's drawbacks to it. Like...
Oh, of course. I mean, we're never going to have a perfect system.
No.
No. We got to find some way to minimize these things.
Yeah.
Because that's all really what we can do is minimize it as much as possible.
Yeah, like I said, extensive background checks, have a psychologist be on hand to administer the test, and ask questions instead of it being written down. Because, you could lie. I guess you could lie to a psychologist too.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm pretty sure they could see through that. But
yeah, but they're trained to see through that.
Now here's a question. Here's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Since the guy who shot up at that church in Springdale was a former military veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they should be able to exercise their right to bear arms after they return from duty?
I don't know. And there's another I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is because...
It's a tough one.
They come back and some of them aren't right.
A lot of them aren't right.
But how could you be right after you've seen what what you've seen over there? You can't. There's no way.
You talk about, and again, this is another military personnel shooting up a place over in Texas. Remember the guy who shot up those police officers in Dallas? He was a former Marine, I think, Army veteran.
Yes. Yeah, something like that.
Michael Johnson, former Army veteran, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, I know he was in the military, but I don't know what branch.
I believe it was the Army, but yeah, he I don't know what made him snap, but hey, the guy was a sniper, man, because he shot 7 police officers and killed 5 of them.
Woo. Wow. And they train you for accurate shooting.
Oh yeah, they turn you into a killing machine out there, man. That's what they do. They turn you into a killing machine. Your sole purpose is to go out there and kill.
Yep. And we'll deal with the psychological after.
Oh, no, we won't. We'll just bring you back and leave you hanging.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to a military psychologist 2 weeks ago. Actually,
interesting.
2 weekends ago.
Uh-huh.
And he said that the military, he goes, what you guys don't see is that we're getting a lot better at diagnosing mental health. He said, but of course, they won't report on that. You know, civilians won't see any of that. And I said, well, what do you mean getting better at diagnosing mental health? He said, when they come back, they have to go through a psychologist, a counselor, a psychiatrist. Once they are done with that, they have, I believe it's 2 or 3 written tests that they have to take. And if anybody, including the pharmacist, sees anything wrong, they have to report it. And he said our supervisors have to put it in the FBI database. I said, yeah, but that wasn't done.
You know, it's funny
There
you
was
mentioned that
backlogs.
because, you know, you're also supposed to report unfit civilians in the FBI database as far as bearing arms. But but states aren't required to do it.
No. And
that is the problem. Therein lies the problem.
Yeah, and this guy said that, you know, as a pharmacist, he sees stuff like that every day. You know, people that aren't fit. And he says, and it's horrible because we just discharge them. You know, we give them help, and if we don't see that they're improving, we just discharge them.
And this help that they're getting, it's covered through the military insurance, right?
Yes. Yeah, they have to go to their local VA.
No wonder they discharge them if they're not improving.
Yeah.
They feel like, oh,
because
well, we're paying all this money and you're not improving, so we don't want to pay for you anymore. So bye.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah,
and thank you for your
sad.
services.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's sad. It's very sad. You know.
It is. It really is. They turn these people into killing machines. They recruit them while they're young. You know what I'm saying? They go to high schools all around the country. You know, whispering sweet nothings in their ear. Oh, if you come to the military, we'll pay for your schooling. Blah blah blah. Turn you into a killing machine. Send you to God knows where to watch people get blown up on a regular basis. You come back wounded physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and they give you the proverbial middle finger after that.
Yep.
Oh, and then they'll turn around and turn to us, the American public, and go, take care of our veterans.
You guys are responsible.
We're responsible for them?
I thought the military was.
Wait a minute. We didn't send them over there. Y'all did.
Yeah.
We didn't turn them into killing machines. Y'all did. We didn't lie to them about what they were fighting for. Y'all did.
Y'all did. Yeah.
You lied to us, too.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And they're getting fed up with it, as you can see, with all these shootings that have been taking place over at military bases.
Yes. And I think our behind-the-scenes guy, I think he's having fun turning up the music and lowering it.
Yes. Like a kid at a toy store.
Like a kid at a... Yeah. Like, ooh, I'm going to turn this up. Whoops.
Yeah. Shout out to our producer back there. There we go. Yeah.
See? See?
Woo!
Where's the killer at?
The chase is on.
Oh, wow. Look at the panning on that. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at our producer. Our producer's having way too much fun.
So
shout out to our producer.
Right on.
That's awesome. That's
hey, Mr. Producer, sir, if you have some input on this, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead. No?
All right, cool.
I'm afraid that if I jump in, people are gonna fall, into a spell if they hear my sexy voice. So I'll let you guys take the show and take the bull by the horns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, me being on this show is a crime as is. So I'm gonna just step aside and let y'all just steer. You know what I mean? So I'm out of here.
Later. Thanks, Mr. Producer Guy. Sir. That's great. We have
even in the midst of a serious topic, we have some fun too.
Yeah, we have fun on the Crime Syndicate because, well, you gotta have fun. What's life without fun, right?
I mean, obviously, this is a very serious matter. This is a very heated matter, a very sensitive matter. We turn our young people into killing machines, and they bring them back here and leave them hanging.
That's not right. It's really not right. It's really sad. And you even have homeless veterans too that are out on the streets.
A lot of them.
Have mental problems.
A lot.
The state's like, I don't want to deal with it because that's too much money. Well, yeah. Well, then you're paying so much money to have prisoners in the prisons.
Oh yeah, prisons. There's a lot of money in that, and of course, there's a lot of money in drug infestation. There's a lot of money in weaponry.
Yeah, let's not forget how much money they spend on NASA too, and other crap that isn't necessarily, beneficial to us, the people. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
People power.
People power.
Yes,
he's right.
He is right. On things
these billionaires and millionaires, they got their priorities jacked up, man. What this is all about is greed and corruption. That's it. Greed and corruption.
A friend of mine and I were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
A church can spend $1.2 million on a building fund.
Tax free.
But not help people in the community? Not do more? How does that work?
They're corrupt.
Why don't we give some money to mental places that can help these people?
What was that number again?
$1.2 million.
Dollars.
Oh my lord!
Building fund. I'm bringing in fancy overhead projectors and fancy equipment.
Well, not only
and all this other crap.
Well, not only in that, but the man in the middle, the big elephant in the room, he or she is also spending it on themselves. They end up with the big mansions and the cars, and some of them even get private jets. Some of them even get boats, yachts. Saying.
Yeah, Crefro dollar.
Appropriately named, huh?
Yeah.
The building fund has now gone down to only $900,000.
Oh, only $900,000, huh? Anybody who decides to become a owner of a church, it's another way of kind of escaping paying taxes.
Yes, but we're digressing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast.
Yes, sorry guys. So let's get.
Well, it all ties into the corrupt system
that
we're under. It all ties in. Corruption is rampant in our system. It's rampant. doesn't matter what political party it is. It's rampant within the entire system is rampant, plagued by corruption.
All of it.
And we, the unsuspecting public, are collateral damage.
Mm-hmm. We sure
We're
are.
collateral damage.
And that's really sad.
So in recent years, there's been a hashtag out there, hashtag stay woke. Let me ask you, what does it mean to stay woke? What does it mean to you?
I don't know, stay awake? I never heard of that.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. Oh, you've been in the wrong. Well, I have. And essentially, what I gather from the context of
what's that mean?
Well, that's how you see that, whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, sound bites from our producer.
Yeah. Well done, sir. Well done.
Put him up. Put him up.
So what it means is, stay informed, stay empowered, stay alert, stay aware.
Yeah, in other
Be
words,
aware.
Don't be blinded to the truth as well.
Yeah, stay awake. I knew that's what that meant. See,
That if there's anything that these past few years have taught me, it's just that. To stay alert, stay aware of things.
yeah,
Because it's important for us to be aware of what's happening. In order for us to speak on it, do something about it if we can. Because if we don't know what we're talking about, then we don't need to be talking.
And we're not asking for people to be saturated by the news every day, minute after minute, hour after hour, but don't ignore what's around you either.
No. Because this day and age, we can't afford to ignore what's going on around us. We can't afford to. We are on the verge of being taken back to the 20th century. We're in a time machine right now, and we're going backwards.
yes.
You know what's sad? We're talking about people who serve and all that. Apart from the middle finger that they get, and apart from them going off the deep end and just, committing these heinous attacks, where's the care for those who end up with stress disorder?
Yeah.
PTSD is a real thing, man.
It is. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a real issue.
Because it's a form of mental health.
They come back and they are psychologically messed up.
Bro,
they can't function in civilization anymore.
Right.
Bro, to illustrate the point even further.
Yeah.
All right. Say you lived with somebody who actually served. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They come back home. They're disoriented. Their psyche is off. Their whole being is off balance. So it's to the point where, say for example, you're in the kitchen serving you a glass of milk, and that cup shatters. He gonna hear that, and he gonna freak out.
Yep.
Yeah, because he's gonna think that he's under attack, and God knows how he's gonna react to that.
So given that, how are you gonna cope with society?
Yeah.
You can't. I had a friend, and this friend, she's now the provider, because her husband, she didn't divorce him or anything like that, even though her family was like, you should divorce him because of all the stuff that he's going through and all this stuff, and you can't handle it, blah blah blah. And she's like, no, I can't, because that's going to look like I abandoned him. And I can't, you know. So she's the home, you know, she's the one who provides. She went and got her degree in medical billing and is now working from home to take care of her husband because her husband is so psychologically messed up. That he
good for her, because she's right. I mean, had she divorced him, that could have set him over the edge. Like, that could have been.
And every night he tells
that could have been the final straw that sent him off, and he said, "You know what? F the world. Ain't nobody give a damn about me." You know what I'm saying?
And pardon me for using this phrase, but that could have been the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and every night, because she was telling me, and she said, I asked her if I could share this, and she said it was fine.
Oh, okay.
And every night she, he tells her, I don't deserve you. Why are you here? Look at me. And she always says, because I love you and God wants us to be together.
My goodness.
That is a powerful I mean,
well, is it me, or did it get cold in here?
Oh, no, it's not just you. It did. Whew, I felt that. I felt that. Oh my God. Wow.
For Easter yesterday, he wrote her a letter, and the letter said, I know what Easter is, and I know what it stands for, and I understand that Jesus died for us, and all that. But thank you for sticking by me when nobody else would. I mean, his own family gave up on him.
Wow. And all he needed was just somebody by his side.
Yeah. And they're doing so well. I mean, you wouldn't know it that he's got all these issues, but at night is when it happens.
Oh, yeah.
But during the day he's okay, because as long as he's not by himself, he's okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because when he's by himself, his mind starts to wander off into those dark times.
Because by yourself, bro, your mind does crazy things too, bro.
Yeah, and they saved up money. Because he wanted a ranch.
Wow.
And he wanted horses. So I think he's got 5 that he uses and 5 that he breeds.
Unreal.
He's a professional horse breeder.
Look at that.
And he said that God and those animals and his wife have helped him through the darkest days. And he says he sees the light now.
Wow.
I saw him yesterday.
He
was doing okay. I've seen him though when he's got.
If that isn't true love, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it, and it's like when he's having a bad day, he'll say, "Hey, don't talk to me. I can't."
But you see, he knows he's not alone.
Yes.
He knows he's got that support system. And sometimes that's what these folk need. Not only him, but a lot of other people here, bruh. A lot of other people here, Crystal.
That's all they need, is knowing that they're not alone.
Yeah.
That's all they need, is somebody by their side.
Yep.
That's it.
It could be a cousin or a friend or anybody.
Somebody.
It doesn't matter who they are.
But unfortunately, and this is the part that, in a sense, falls on us, even though we did go over, or should I say, Crystal and Ness went over responsibility just a couple of moments ago, but we are so judgmental that we look at somebody and we automatically make a character of them. Oh, they crazy, dog. I don't want to go near that.
Yeah.
What's up?
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
Yeah. That's too easy, man. That's too easy. That's too
It is.
easy to jump to that conclusion that these people are crazy. That they're lunatics. We need to stay away from them. That's too easy.
They're people. They're humans. You can't throw them out on the streets and forget about them like they're some pieces of trash.
You know, this reminds me of an episode of House of Pain. For those who don't know, House of Pain is a sitcom produced by Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry has a way of blending comedy with reality.
Yep.
Now, this particular episode of House of Pain, there was a character on that show that was depicted as a soldier who came back from doing a tour in Iraq. He was a friend of Calvin Payne. He was one of the main characters. And he was having a hard time adjusting to society. He was always drinking, and he wanted to fight everybody. And then finally, him and Calvin talked, and he's like, "Man, you guys over here, you guys just don't know. You guys just don't know." As if to say, man, they don't tell you everything. You guys don't see what we see.
Yeah, he's right. We don't.
No, we don't. The reason we don't know, because they won't tell us. They'll lie to us as to why we're over there in the first place. They'll lie to them as to why they're over there.
Yep.
So we're over here looking at, viewing them as heroes because they're fighting for us. And the fact is, they're not.
Yeah, because afterwards, look at how those heroes are treated.
Exactly.
They go from heroes to being trash.
Yep.
Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunate. And yeah, we could look at some of these shootings, and I quote, some.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these people, yeah, they do regard and deserve some sort of sympathy. Others flat out don't.
Right.
Yeah.
But the question, it always goes back to this. What if some sort of action were taken beforehand? What if somebody had actually paid attention and done something about it? What if you lended some of your attention to that person and made them feel like they was wanted and loved and cared for?
Yep.
Yeah.
We ever took the time to stop and think about these things? America, I'm talking to you.
Nope. FBI sure didn't.
America. Oh.
Go listen to that track.
Looking at y'all.
Yeah. And when we say America, we're not talking about the general public. We're talking about the powers that be.
Exactly.
Yep. That's what I said.
People
FBI didn't.
the people who give the orders to send these killing machines off to do their bidding. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
As we stated earlier, yeah, we have terrorists in this country. Most of them are domestic. Domestic terrorists. Look at the data.
Who breeds them?
Look at the data.
Tell me who breeds them.
Look at the data. The data totally refutes the idea that terrorists all come from the Middle East.
That ain't true.
Totally refutes that. Look at the data.
That ain't true. Any act
Absolute
of crime, especially when you talk about massive amount of loss of life, is a terrorist attack. Anything that's premeditated is a terrorist attack.
That's correct. Doesn't matter what ethnicity the person was who committed this act. It is what it is. It
can
is
come from anywhere. I mean,
Let's call it what it is, folks. Alright? Terrorist attack could be
what it is.
white, black, yellow.
It is what it is.
You know, it's just like love. Love has no color and ethnicity. Neither does terrorism.
Neither does hate. Exactly. Hate doesn't either.
Exactly. And you were born not to hate, but somebody teaches somebody else to hate. You're not born with it.
No, these are taught behaviors. These
Yes.
things are taught. These aren't things you're born with. These are things you're taught. These are generational curses passed down.
Just like loving somebody, or
Yeah.
you're taught to love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You can be taught to hate too, and that's
Correct.
what's so scary.
But you know what?
It is.
Love is a trait that we automatically... We're born with that. And here's proof of it. When babies are born, they always look for their mom. Even when, even newborns, they cry for who? For their mom. So much so that they know when it's their mom that's holding them.
You know what the incredible thing is? Is the bonding begins in the womb.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's
That's
it.
where it begins, in the womb.
You're their
They are
first,
bonding.
you're their first bouncy house and their first playground and all that.
So now we talk about our kids. I have all my nieces and nephews. They're all in grade school, ranging from 2nd to 10th grade. Mo, I know you have nieces and nephews that are in grade school as well.
I do too. I have a niece and a nephew.
Oh, there we go.
Well, no, all of them are. All three of them.
This is what they have to worry about now.
Yep.
This is what their concern is.
Yeah. Do I have to go to school today worried that somebody's gonna come and harm us? Instead of worrying about, yo, did you do your homework? Could I copy off of you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Oh,
man, they gave me-
you did the homework last night? I didn't do mine. So you mind if I copy off of you real quick?
That's
hurry
it.
up, the teacher's coming.
Okay, hold on.
Hurry.
Nah.
Or,
No,
man,
this is what
they
they have-
gave
this is
different
what they have
tests
to worry
out. I
about.
can't copy off of
That sense of innocence.
Oh.
Listen, what's happened here is we've stripped them of their innocence.
you. Yeah.
We've really stripped them of their childhood.
We talk about gun violence in the inner city. It usually happens in the streets. It doesn't happen in the schools. It happens in the streets.
Yes.
So kids feel safe in the schools. Schools is, again, as we stated earlier, schools is a kid's second home away from home.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they see this happen 6 weeks ago, kids all around the country, regardless of what neighborhood, black, white, or otherwise, they're all talking about this. They're all worried about this. How can we assure them that they're going to be safe? How?
You know what sucks? Is I don't even know. Because we can say, it's okay, you're going to be okay. Well, how do you know that? Are you going to go to school with me?
Well, not only that,
but
all the means of
rhetorical.
media, the internet and all that. Listen, you can't hide things from kids anymore.
No. See, at least when we were going through our chemical warfare concern, we at least had the ability to just turn off the TV and that's it, be done with it.
Right.
Nowadays,
yeah, because very few of us had the internet at that point.
Yeah, the internet was still in its infancy back then. But nowadays, you have the internet. And these kids are constantly on their electronics.
Not only that, but social media, where they can see who's chatting it up about what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Ness. You were going to ask something. My bad.
Obviously, none of us could answer this question, but it's still a question that definitely is worth asking anyway and discussing. Is how did we get to this point? Like, it feels like we just blink and bang, it just happened. Like, how did we even get to this point?
That's when it really has no answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can look at it from so many different angles and say, oh, it happened because of this, or it happened when this started occurring. But in reality, it seems like there was really no starting point to all of this.
Yeah. What year was the Columbine shooting? 2001?
2001, I think.
But you know what?
It wasn't until...
Go ahead.
It wasn't until 2012, when the Newtown shooting happened, that this really started to become an epidemic, a problem. This really picked up after that.
Oh, it was one mass shooting after another, after another, after another.
Yeah.
Now it's to the point where we hear about it every year. 1, 2, 3, 4, shootings at different venues, concerts, stadiums, sporting
churches.
events, churches.
And the worst of it
schools.
all is that now we've kind of grown numb to it. That's the worst of it all.
Because now, really what happens, you hear of a shooting and you kind of shake your head at it. You're like, okay.
Like I said at the beginning, when I first heard of the Parkland shooting, I thought, another one? That was my initial reaction.
It's as commonplace as one telling you, hey, guess what? The Golden State Warriors won last night. Oh, again?
Or the
Patriots.
Cowboys beat the Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Hey, what?
Yes.
Hey. Second of the key.
That's right.
Hey, I should get a raise for that, sir.
You are. Don't worry. We'll discuss that behind the scenes.
That's okay. That's okay. We're Super Bowl champions.
By the way,
year.
I want to remind everybody that I am Baby Moy, executive producer of ENT Hooligans.
Woo!
I gotta put my label out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, no
That's
problem.
right. And I am Ness,
Serious?
podcast host extraordinaire.
Excuse me?
Look at him trying to get some dibs.
Nah! I am StarFox, the creator of the Crime Syndicate.
Ooh.
That makes me the co-creator.
Along with my co-host, Ness.
Teamwork,
go.
folks. Teamwork. This is what we exhibit here. Teamwork.
No. Actually, this is all teamwork, y'all.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Just don't forget, I'm executive producer. gotta remind you YouTubers out there. You know what I'm saying?
And he's also, man, he's our boss.
And don't forget, I'm the extraordinaire host.
You are? Don't forget, I'm the creator.
Oh Lord. I think I was about to call him Spot. Oh.
Thunder.
Thunder.
I think Thunder wanted to get in on the action too.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss Spot.
That's priceless,
Spot was cool.
Yeah. He was social.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Well, guys.
Well, you know what? I think we'll end off on that light
Yeah, I was
note.
going to say, should we wrap it up?
Yeah. We'll end on that light note because there's been a lot of seriousness going on. And we'll end on this light note. So,
Yes.
StarFox, you want to wrap it up for us?
I will.
Go ahead.
Thank you guys so much for all your support. And if you, please like this video. And if you want us to, don't be afraid to comment. If you want us to do more of this stuff, let us know. If you want us to do less of it, let us know. We're here to please you guys. Also, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for 1mbps/Sports Vista. That's going to be lots of fun. The whole crew is going to be there. Wednesday is also Peeps Corner. That'll be fun. Thursday is an edition of Sports Vista. And Friday is our special edition of Sports Vista.
WrestleMania edition.
There you go. WrestleMania edition. Thank you for the help.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of you wrestling fans out there, so y'all gonna have a lot of fun with this one.
Yes, y'all
it's
are.
unbelievable, the wrestling fan base. I'm not even making any of this up. Because personally, as opposed to you guys commenting on here, some of you personally contact me and you guys are like, hey, why don't you cover wrestling a little more? I'm like, oh, jeez.
And, you guys are welcome to contact us as well. Don't be scared.
On our ENT Hooligans page, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep, hit us up on there. We'll respond in kind.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's right. Remember, folks.
Who knows? You might get one of us to private message you.
And remember, folks, just because I am the producer and management, that doesn't mean that you can't reach out to these guys over here because they're in control as much as I am. So that's how we work here. It's about teamwork. And before we go, I just want to send special shout-outs. So bear with me here. Shout out to Jeffrey, Charlene, my dad. Another shout out to Ashley, and also another shout out to we got James in the house, we got Anthony in the house. Another shout out to Hector in the house. You know what I'm saying? La casa. That's right, baby.
Hey, pa.
And
what's up, everybody?
Another shout out to Tony. What's up, Tony? How are you? Thanks for your support, brother.
Yo, what up, Tony?
Thanks for supporting us, Tony.
Want to send a shout out to Austin the Blade. Hey, how you doing, man? Hope
What's
everything's
up?
good with you. One
ENT
of our
Hooligans' own, Austin the Blade.
Shout out to John Follis. So thank you very much, guys, for
Friend of the show. Thank you, John.
Thank you for your unending support, love, generosity. We love you guys. Stay tuned. This week it's gonna be crazy, man. We're gonna wrap it up here, but we'll be back tomorrow. Keep us locked. You know how it is. You know how we be. We are ENT Hooligans. I'm Baby Moy. She's StarFox. He's Ness. God bless. Keep God first in everything you do in your life. See ya!